Yeah, very, very surreal.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
So how many of these items were you able to retrieve on your dive?
So we were not allowed to retrieve anything on that dive. Part of the rules state that you're not allowed to do any retrieving without
Okay.
reporting these things first. You know, the ship at the time, from what I gathered, belonged to the royal family, of course, and therefore still belongs to the royal family. So everything, when I came back, everything had to be documented and reported. And then after that, it was kind of handed over to the salvage experts and stuff like that. And from what I gather, a lot of the things that were actually removed from there were taken to the museums in Portsmouth. Yeah.
Yes, that's so fascinating, isn't it? So you're part of that kind of discovery legacy now.
Yeah.
Actually, as a diver, it must be so exciting.
It's a small part, but it still feels like a big part to myself.
Yes,
Yeah.
certainly. Now we've talked a little bit about royal family. We're both avid royalists, actually, and that brings me to your company name, which is English Empire Divers, which is how I found Richard in the first place. I was so excited to meet a fellow Brit, you know, who dives. Tell us about the evolution of your brand.
So, I was again. I feel like I've been so lucky in my life to have these things handed to me, but I have worked for it afterwards. But it was actually during a period of time when I was kind of between diving jobs. I had a young family at the time, and I needed to make money. I was actually, I didn't have the company at the time, but I was handed a customer from a very good friend of mine, Daisuke, at Okinawa 39ers. I was handed this customer, an Indian fella. And just a wonderful, wonderful man. He dived with me for 2 days, I think it was. And he asked me, why couldn't I find you online? And I said, and I explained my situation. I'm actually starting a business. I don't really understand how to do all the websites and everything like that. And it turned out that that was his career. That was what he did. That's what he specialized in. And I remember he gave me a choice, a choice that I really had to think about. He said, look, I'm traveling right now, so money is an issue. He said, if you give me one of these days for free, I will build your business for you.
Wow.
And I remember, like, again, with having a young family and needing the money at the time, I remember speaking to my wife and saying to her, what do I do? What do you think I should do? And with my wife and her way, she just simply said, what did your heart tell you? And I consider myself a very trusting man. And I thought I should trust him. And long story short, I said, okay. I said, yeah, you can help me. So he said, okay. He goes, I have to leave tomorrow. To which I was like, oh, okay. He goes, I leave tomorrow, but give me your contact details. So I gave him all my contact details so they can get in touch with me. And for a week, I didn't hear anything. So I was just like, okay, you know, maybe you can let these things go, whatever. But he called me, and when he called me, he asked me, I felt like such a fool. He said, are you by your computer right now? And I said, yeah, I can be. So I went to my computer. He asked me to turn it on, so I turned it all on. I did all the things he asked me to. And I remember clearly saying to him, oh, something's broken. My mouse is moving, it's doing something by itself. And he was like, I have control of your computer. I had no idea. He was telling me how like he gained control of my computer. But he suddenly did something that was magical for me. He pulled up this website, which is the website that you can see now. He built the Facebook page, or the foundations for a Facebook page. He asked me for access to my pictures, so I gave him access to my pictures, in which case he put all my pictures on there. And he had built my webpage.
That's amazing.
It was. But the funniest thing was he said, you need a business name.
Yeah.
And when he said you need a what's your business name? And I simply said, well, I don't know, diving, Okinawa. He said, you need something that's going to bring people to your company, so that when they come to Okinawa and they want to have an English-speaking company, so have English in there. So okay, yeah. So I said, how about like English Divers Okinawa? And he goes, it's not too good. He goes, and he said to me, how about English Empire Divers? And I jokingly went, and that's okay with you? And he simply said to me, anyone with a sense of humor, he goes, we'll get it. Right. And he goes, it's a great name. Yeah. So that's how I got the name.
Well, it is a great name, yes. And it's served you well, hasn't it? You're very busy with the business and lots of customers.
Yeah. I've been very lucky.
Fantastic. So in the next episode we're going to be talking a little bit more about specific encounters with various creatures underwater. So thank you for watching. Bye. GoPro, stop recording.